It's the number one hustler. I turn a hater to a customer. It's the number one hustler. I turn a hater to a customer. Trying to get this right. I'm trying to live this life. I put in work and still be earning stripes. So it's the number one hustler. I turn a hater to a customer. Trying to get this right. I'm trying to live this life. I put in work and still be earning stripes. So
Guess who's back? It's Kamish, back here with another team preview. This time it's a divisional rival out of the south. Danny and Billsy Bob Timhorton, an owner who's entering his second year. Had a tough first year, but it was also put in a difficult spot. So we'll see if he's had any improvement. Looking at his draft grade, I mean, he got a C+, but it was more just because he didn't really have any early picks early on. It wasn't more about the players he picked. First round, he had no pick. Traded the first overall pick to True North. We've all seen what True North's record might be like this year because of it. Second round, went with a tight end, Kyle Rudolph. Obviously, tight ends were probably quite limited. He knew that. So Meredith, Ebron, and Ertz were picked after those. So three decent guys that could have been picked, but went with Rudolph. Round 3, no pick. Round 4, no pick. So hard to gauge and give a draft grade for Danny early on. Fifth round went with a linebacker in Quan Alexander. Again, not a bad pick to go linebacker. J.J. Watt, Lockett, Chiefs, and Patriots were picked after. So, not a bad strategy. And then the sixth round had 3 picks. Went with Brandon LaFell. Went with the Seahawks defense, and then Vontaze Burfict. Round 7, another linebacker in Freeman. Round 8 went with Travis Benjamin, who I believe he's traded now. And then round 9 went Tajay Sharp, who I think might be a bit of a bust. And round 10, Kendall Wright and Carlos Dunlap. So, you could see that obviously Danny was thinking, I got to go linebacker before all the good linebackers are gone. Not sure if that was the right way to go, considering when you look at his lineup. So, first off, I mean, he's got a great quarterback in Derek Carr. Made that trade with Longyard. I think he really got the better of Longyard in that one. Matt Moore is the backup. He's not going to see any time. Running back, so he had running backs as keepers. So he had Gillisley, C.J. Anderson, Melvin Gordon. He also has Jeremy Hill. Still wondering why he kept him. West, Damian Williams, and Fozzie Whitaker. So, there's depth at the running hole, and I mean, you need depth in the running hole in this league, and obviously Danny knows that now. Wide receivers, he's got not a very good group, probably one of the worst in the league. LaFell, Kendall Wright, Seth Roberts, Jermaine Kearse, Aldrick Robinson, Tajay Sharp, and Russell Shepard. So these are guys that, I mean, there's, there might be a couple diamonds in the rough on a weekly basis, but at the same time, if you're relying on a guy like Jermaine Kearse to be one of your point producers, it could be a long season for you. Kicker, you got Sturgis and Elliott. Defense, the Seahawks. No backup defense, though. Defensive line, Dunlap, Cox, and Malik Jackson. Linebacker, pretty good group, actually, with Freeman, Burfict, and Quan Alexander. Those are 3 really good linebackers. Of course, he drafted them early on, so you can see that was part of the strategy. And he's got Hodges, Hitchens, and Kennard as well. And then on DB, not the best group at all, with Tandy, Bradbury, Mills, Elford, and Sorensen. So you could see not having the early draft picks. I mean, when you don't have 3 out of your first 5 rounds, it's going to make things difficult for your depth. But at the same time, Danny finished 3-10 in year one. We'll see if he's going to improve. I know he traded a lot of those picks away to improve his keepers, and we'll just see if it translates into wins and losses this year. I mean, like I say, 3-10 last year. Anywhere but up is a good thing at this point for Danny. So looking at week one, taking on divisional rival Brandon and Wolves. We got a win for Danny to start the year, so a good start to the year. And then taking on Chris and True North, well, that's a tough opponent. I see a loss there for Danny. But then week three, taking on state-controlled Monsters. Easy win for Danny there. And then week four, taking on Sean Drink AJ. A win there. So a 3-1 start for Danny, already meeting last year's win total through 4. Heading into week 5, taking on My Ball Zach Ertz. Another win for Danny. So 4-1, 3 straight wins. But then things turn a little bit south from there. I got week 6 against Fighting Geese. Loss in that one. Week 7, take on divisional rival Luke and Too Good for a Name. Loss in that one. And then week 8, taking on Sasha Heineken. Another loss there. So 4-4 all of a sudden. 4-1 start, all of a sudden down to 4-4. Hopefully the losing ways wouldn't continue, but in week 9 they would. As you play me, divisional rival, that's going to be a loss. And then week 10, taking on Lucas and Green Lightning, another loss. So 5 straight losses for Danny, bringing the record to 4-6. But then taking on divisional rival Glenn and Mr. Longyard. Got a win for you in that one, Danny. And then week 12, taking on probably the team you'd want to see, Steven and US1. And that's a win there. So what does it all equate to for Danny through 12? I see him going around a 6-6. Obviously a huge improvement from his 3-10 record from last year. It's clear that he has made improvements to his team. He's got the keepers he needed. He knows this was a rebuild, I think. And now, hopefully, he will be smart about keeping some of those picks and be even better next year.